Nous sommes le 7 novembre 2015 et demain, la Birmanie va connaître un tournant historique. Pour la première fois depuis 1960, le peuple votera librement. Après 50 ans de dictature, d'arrestation, de torture et d'impunité, il aura finalement la possibilité de s'exprimer et peut-être même de changer l'avenir de la Birmanie. Il y a 5 ans, la junte militaire a décidé de sortir de la dictature et d'organiser des élections pour élire un gouvernement civil. Malheureusement, le scrutin n'a été qu'une mascarade et les dirigeants militaires sont restés au pouvoir. La communauté internationale s'est pourtant empressée de féliciter la Birmanie et de rétablir des liens diplomatiques et économiques avec les anciens de la junte. Cette année, le gouvernement birman a promis que les élections seraient équitables et que le résultat serait respecté. Sous le regard de la communauté internationale, il a même modernisé son système électoral pour éviter les fraudes. Les Birmans demeurent méfiants, mais souhaitent croire que la démocratie pourra s'imposer avec ces élections.
Previous 5 years, 2010 to 2015, under the President U Thein Sein, even though he declared to fight against poverty, people that stay poor, or U Thein Sein government cannot solve the problem of land grabbing cases. Also, political freedom is still questionable, restricting on freedom of expression, freedom of assemblies. Also, therefore, many students were detained. They were cracked down very brutally. The way they solve the problem is not much different with the military regime.
All the recent fightings and the breaking promises they made are very good examples of they don't have strong political will to maintain peace in country. And this is one of the reasons, we could never able to build trust. So that's why it's really, really difficult. So I just don't know how to say it. And it might be the same to the international community as well, because even for us, speaking the same language, knowing the context, it's very difficult to deal with us. So maybe for the international community, they just don't understand what kind of theories, practice, and concepts might be work in this country.
One of the recent successes that Myanmar is very proud of is a significant improvement in international relations compared to the past. Having good relations with the United States is very important for Myanmar in attracting foreign investment. We want US investors to trust Myanmar, and we believe that the more the two countries are in contact with each other, the better they will understand and trust each other. Relations between Myanmar and the US are currently very good. The US has lifted some economic sanctions on Myanmar, even though some investors still have a negative image of our country because of incorrect information coming from the opposition and from those with negative ideologies.
A lot of people think about our government is, they don't have capacity, and actually not. The military government here in Myanmar, they are the cleverest government in the world. Nobody could understand them, and nobody could, compete them actually.
A second major achievement is that our administration has been making progress in ending the armed conflict, which Myanmar has been experiencing for nearly 60 years, ever since the country's independence. Our government has been working to establish peace among armed ethnic groups, and most of them have agreed to a ceasefire.
Ces 5 dernières années, le gouvernement a tout fait pour donner à la Birmanie l'image d'un pays libre et prospère. Mais il n'a jamais cessé de réprimer son peuple et de manipuler l'opinion. Les militaires contrôlent toujours 78% des sièges au Parlement Mais demain, tout pourrait changer. « 92 partis politiques ont été autorisés à se présenter et ont fait campagne pendant 2 mois. L'USDP a surfé sur la vague xénophobe et s'est présenté comme le seul parti capable de protéger la race et la religion bouddhiste. La Ligue nationale pour la démocratie, la LND, est le parti historique de l'opposition. Sa leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, est devenue l'icône internationale de la résistance birmane. En 1991, elle a même reçu le prix Nobel de la paix. Surnommée Mother Suu, elle représente l'espoir de tout un peuple, pour qui elle incarne la démocratie et la fin de l'oppression militaire. Cet engouement populaire place la LND en grand favori du scrutin.
Tomorrow we expect a very good result, more than 70%.
Pourtant, son programme électoral demeure vague et très généraliste.
National reconciliation, economic development and peace process.
Les campagnes des autres partis politiques se sont peu différenciées de ces thématiques et n'ont pas non plus fait de propositions concrètes. Pour beaucoup d'entre eux, ces élections constituent leur première expérience politique et même s'ils manquent de ressources, ils ont tout fait pour profiter de cette nouvelle ère de liberté.
I hope after election it's gonna be changed. Everything is also it's gonna be okay, more than before. Mainly human rights.
Nous sommes le 8 novembre. Et depuis 5 heures du matin, les Birmans impatients font la queue devant les bureaux de vote. Ils sont extrêmement calmes. On a le sentiment qu'ils n'osent pas faire un pas de travers, de peur qu'on leur confisque leurs élections.
This is our right. This is our choice.
The significant, very unusual event today is senior and the younger people. Every people in different ages were gathering together beforehand the opening of the polling station. They are with high energy and high motivation. For real change, let's vote for NLD.
À la surprise de tous, la journée des élections s'est très bien déroulée. La Birmanie n'a pas connu de scrutin aussi libre depuis plus de 50 ans. Les observateurs européens ont indiqué que dans 95% des bureaux de vote observés, les élections se sont bien ou très bien passées. Toutefois, tous ont reconnu que des irrégularités ont eu lieu et que le processus électoral n'a pas été équitable.
This is the first historical elections that Rohingya are stripped of their right to participate in the elections, right to vote, and right to run in the elections as a first time in history. All eligible voters in 2010 elections, the Rohingya, are not in the voter list now. And all the candidates from the Rohingya community and many from the Muslims are rejected in the election registration process.
If we go to the free and fair, we have to look at the legal framework, the freedom of movement. Let's say, and some of the party have a restriction by the local militia group, and some of the parties has been prevented by the local authority or something like that. So there's some of freedom of movement, and then this kind of this enfranchisement of these. There's a lot of people based on the decision of the temporary card holders. So and then the legal framework itself. So I think if we go to the the broader concept, the free and fair is, I think, I'm not sure.
There are some incidents. Some groups are trying to do some fraud things. Actually, advanced voting, votes from soldiers and police. International community cannot monitor advanced voting. And also voter lists, they cannot do anything for voter lists.
I think internationally and domestically, very few people only expect that kind of result.
Mais ces irrégularités n'ont pas suffi à fausser l'issue du scrutin. La LND remporte une victoire écrasante avec 78% des voix. Elle pourra ainsi choisir son président et former son gouvernement. Malgré 5 années d'efforts pour redorer son image, le parti des héritiers de la junte a subi un échec cuisant. Il ne remporte que 8% des voix.
One is clear to us as an ordinary citizen is that they want a new government. That is very clear. So even the ethnic areas, they just vote for one single big party.
Les minorités ethniques, qui représentent 40% de la population, étaient représentées par 60 partis. Mais ils n'ont pas réussi à convaincre leur communauté et n'ont remporté que 11% des voix.
Many people vote for NLD, not because they trust, but they really don't like this USDP anymore. They feel that local parties will not be able to go against USDP, but they don't know about Aung San Suu Kyi cannot be a president.
Seul un parti ethnique a obtenu 4,5% des voix, l'Arakan National Party, un parti anti-musulman et indépendantiste. La minorité musulmane, qui représente entre 4 et 10% de la population birmane, n'a été représentée que par 28 candidats sur les 6074 candidats en lice. Aucun n'a été élu.
Now we assume that there is no Muslims and no representative of the Muslims in the parliament in Burmese history. I think this is a very dangerous step that this country is taken for the democratic elections and excluding minorities and not having protections of the minority rights in the elections.
Malgré les inégalités, la joie est présente dans tout le pays. Les Birmans ne parlent plus que de cette victoire tant espérée. Même les minorités sont soulagées de tourner la page de l'USDP. La Birmanie s'apprête à entrer dans une nouvelle phase où Aung San Suu Kyi tiendra un rôle clé mais délicat. Elle devra faire preuve de volonté, d'influence, mais surtout accepter les compromis.
At present, whether we like it or not, Aung San Suu Kyi is the most popular among the people. Actually, people really want to give a chance to Aung San Suu Kyi to do something. And Aung San Suu Kyi said she will set up reconciliation government. It means that she will invite USDP and she will invite ethnic parties. So that is good sign. So because we need such kind of government. And then if we can create civil and military relationship, that will be better for the future.
Military are 25% in the parliament, so it is sort of the veto power. So whatever the majority NLD or whatever government have, they, without consent of the military, any changes, any amendment would not be happen.
The military have set the rules, they select the playground they would like to play, and we all, including the NLD, we all have to play the games they want, with the set rules and environment they made. And unless we people and the NLD could set the rules of the games and the ground we would like to play, no? So I don't think that it will going to be a meaningful democratic society. It seems that everybody have to, compromise with the big guys, always what they want.
Since a very long time, the retired military, or somehow the military has retired from the military position and transferred to the civilian position, right? So I think before the 2010 elections, there are a lot of movement from the military to the, especially like the General Administration Office. So these are not the political positions; these are bureaucratic positions. They coordinate. It has to change. The only way is we have to wait for their retirement, and then we have to change or something like that. So it's need to take time.
Government should take an action to those who committed human rights violations, whoever, maybe soldiers or policemen or ordinary people, or even though they are saying no one is above the law, including Aung San Suu Kyi, but law is law.
I think there are good things and also bad things, I think, with this NLD becoming a government. But what the NLD is not saying yet, it's about the rights of the ethnic peoples so far.
Our division is according to the ethnicity, no? Ethnicity. Then these NLD people, they cannot represent us, especially in the kind of individual level, no? So they don't understand us.
I mean, like Aung San Suu Kyi, she is the Nobel Peace Prize laureate, and she's still not talking about the peace process. And she always said, I will be involved in peace process only when both parties invite me. And then she's waiting until now.
We've been forgotten for so long, and even now we get some attention from the international communities, but it seems they are so optimistic towards only the elections result, and I'm really worried that their eyes will not see all the grievances that ethnic minorities are facing in Myanmar.
If Suu Kyi or any person from NLD says something stupid about the armed groups who are not signing the NCA yet, then this kind of statement will give more legitimacy to the army to increase the fighting. Yeah, and the international community also know they are doing the right things, and then you will be damned, One thing I'm worried is that they will definitely have some problem with the army, and that problem will definitely affect peace process.
2008 Constitution provided the most power to Commander-in-Chief. Therefore, we need to change 2008 Constitution, and President must have the power to command to the Home Affairs Minister and all armed forces. So otherwise, it would be difficult to have peace in the country if the president has no power.
If there is no war and conflict, there is no legitimacy for them, no? To get more budget for the military, more recruitment and getting more power, they have to have war and conflict in the country. If you look at all the conflict area, it's strongly linked to the foreign direct investment, and no wonder they are trying to protect the investment that they deal with the Chinese and the others investors, no? So it seems that instead of like protecting its own citizens, they are protecting the investor and their own benefits, because like a lot of those investments normally didn't go for the people services, no? So like it goes all to the military or their personnel. The military, they don't care, because they are the one who is having absolute power, wealth, and nearly all the business in their hand. They don't care any sanctions or blacklist. You know, our local medias are also owned by the cronies, no?
We believe it is essential that businesses contribute to the improvement of Myanmar society. For us, doing business is not solely about profits. It's about love for our country, people, and helping improve living standards and quality of life.
They are focusing more on what majority readers want to read, right? Yeah, and our medias are also very new and fresh, so yeah, they need to grow a lot.
À l'image des médias, mais également des partis politiques, la démocratie birmane doit grandir pour s'affirmer. Les militaires ont encore la main mise sur la politique et l'économie du pays. Ils détiennent plus d'un quart des sièges du Parlement, les postes clés des institutions et des administrations, ainsi qu'un droit de veto pour tout changement de la Constitution. La population aspire à un réel changement, mais manque pour le moment d'éducation politique pour comprendre la complexité des enjeux auxquels devra faire face le nouveau gouvernement. Les élections représentent un tournant, mais surtout la toute première étape vers la transition démocratique. Le nouveau gouvernement prendra ses fonctions le 1er avril 2016.
They will be able to do some change, but I don't expect many change that they will be able to do within these 5 years. So, but at least if they start change, they pave the way to the change,